Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we are talking about Atlantis, the lost city, the submerged city, the smited or fourth dimension city of Atlantis. So come sit a spell with us as we talk all about the little bit of actual history, and then a lot about everything we think about that.
Right, our theory. So we should probably open up with like the actual history because I could promise you
there's not much. Yeah.
Oh,
but there's not much history.
Nothing.
Plato wrote one story about Atlantis in 2 books, right?
Yes, and I had read that the reason why people think the Atlantis story stuck with people, because it's been over 2,000 years now, is because it just lets you use your imagination almost. At least that's what I read according to one article, but I don't know why else it would stick. Why?
Oh, I do. Because, I have the other end of this aspect, and it's the treasure hunters that look for the lost city of Atlantis. Everybody wants to find the underwater remains to prove that Atlantis was real, because I think it has become a thing for us to prove that it was real more than anything. You know what I mean? And imagine being the person who finds Atlantis, and what if Atlantis is just like they think in Futurama, just like they think in Mike Tyson Mysteries and all the other cartoons I watch, where it's still a city going. It's underwater, but it's a fucking active city. Oh yeah, see, I don't know if I think that it's underwater like Little Mermaid type.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I think it's underwater like
a bubble.
A bubble like in Ugly Americans and Mike Tyson
or
Mysteries.
A cave.
I'd never thought of a cave. I've literally only thought of the 2. As far as underwater goes, I've only thought of the 2 options of encapsulated in something that has air contained,
right?
Or everybody has learned to breathe air.
See,
because
water.
Water, because Coca-Cola spurred on the evolution of man to mermaid. That's a Futurama reference for all of my Futurama fans. That's one of my favorite Atlantis
I say cave,
things.
and it kind of just popped into me because there are underwater caves that have pockets of air.
There are.
So I'm like, oh, that'd be cool.
But would a whole city lump in?
I'm sure, because I am 100% sure, not in the Hollow Earth episode, I'm not talking about this guy, I'm not, but this one airplane went into a cave, and it was like its own forest, because it was such a big cave. It was not Hollow Earth, I swear to God, this actually happened.
I mean, I don't disbelieve that's possible. But that does not truck with everything I think about Atlantis being in a cave. That's super cool.
Oh, yeah.
I can't, I can picture all sorts of things about Atlantis, but picturing it winding it up in an underwater cave. Now, if it collapsed enough and then Earth came down around it.
Wait.
And it became a cave.
Can volcanoes make pockets of air?
When
when the lava hardens?
I'm sure. If Mount Vesuvius went up and encapsulated Atlantis.
Right.
And didn't, burn them all alive like it did at Pompeii.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on Pompeii because, excuse me guys, I'm so sorry it's late here. I love Pompeii. And there are so many theories. Some people say that Pompeii happened because it was a punishment because they were pagan.
A punishment because they were pagan? That's... But wasn't everybody... Wait, when did Mount Vesuvius erupt? I don't know. Was this after the Christian church took over?
Wait, is that the Pompeii thing?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Sure.
That's just what some Christians say.
Pretty sure.
But they also say that about other things. Other natural disasters.
West.
So I think they...
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Westboro. Westboro, we're looking at you guys.
But
assholes.
On the topic of the story, the original story, that was written 2,000. It was either 2,100 or 2,300 years ago. It was like over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, and it was written about a city that went away 9,000 years prior to that.
Yes.
So Atlantis is like at least 11,000 years before our current era.
11,000?
Yeah.
11,000.
11,000.
Oh, right. 900. Dude, don't. Fucking A. I always think. I can't with time zones. Because it's like the 18th century is actually the 1700s and the 20th century is actually the 19th.
Yeah, that shit fucked me up for a long time as a kid. Like 20th Century Fox helped me understand that.
I know, but you say that and it's like, that's the last century.
I know, but in the 90s, 20th Century Fox, and I was like, oh, that's why 1790 is in the 18th century. Well, we're in 1992, and it's the 20th century. Oh, I get it now. Like, if it wasn't for that logo, I don't know that I ever would have had that solid happen.
Wait. Okay, I'm confused. Hold on. You said it was written 900 years prior.
9,000.
Oh, not okay. I thought you said 900 because I was
9,
like, how did we get 11,000 from 900?
No, 9,000 years and 2,000 years. Because it was 9,000 years before Plato's time that he said the city of Atlantis went down fighting with Athens. And they were a great naval... Oh.
They
were assholes.
Yeah. Wait, the Atlantis people?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were so much strong, like...
they were so full of themselves.
Yeah. Well,
they were
won.
super intellectual.
Wait, did they win or no?
No, Athens beat them. And that's part of the allegory.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
Well, like, so in Plato's writings, the Atlanteans and the Athenians were fighting against each other. And the Atlanteans were a great naval fleet, I guess, because they lived on that island and they were surrounded by water.
I could see that.
The 3 rings of water and then water around the island as well. They're supposed to be in the Gibraltar Strait, which Gibraltar has the word altar in it. I'm just saying it makes fucking sense. But I like the word Gibraltar, and doing this research and writing it down, I was like, oh, the word altar is right in Gibraltar, which is the strait or the part of the ocean that Atlantis was supposedly in. So it's on an altar. Like, I mean, come on. I'm just saying, like, they thought they were holier than thou. Maybe they were. But because they were so full of themselves, the Athenians were able to beat them. And because they were full of such hubris and they were such assholes about it, the gods smited them, and that's why Atlantis went away. The gods smited them and they went into the ocean. Like, that's the story. But again, like I was telling you in the car, like, I legit could not find when reading anything, but totally remember learning a theory that Atlantis was just so much better than everybody. Again, they were kind of assholes, I guess. But they were like, we're so much better than you guys. We're just, peace out. We're Audi 5000, and they out of our realm. I fucking believe that shit.
Oh, I believe it, because
that's what I believe.
What if they were actually really humble and people are just
really assholes? Like, they're like,
jealous.
These assholes, they talked all like fancy and shit, and were disrespecting us
like
with
the
their
words. And the Pirates of the fucking Caribbean. Like,
well, I was thinking Idiocracy, but the words that they used were very not PC, so I didn't want to quote that movie.
Oh.
Because anybody that talked normal, they called them the R slur.
Oh,
they said they talked.
Well, it was made in the late 90s.
Well, and yes, and the whole point was saying people were assholes. Like, it wasn't a good thing. Like, those people saying that they were jackasses, they were idiots. They sat on a couch that was also a toilet and ate all of their food out of a bucket and just watched stupid TV. I mean, it's just kind of an allegory for what's going to happen in the future for us. Based on our current, so Atlantis. Again, they were like, we're better than you guys.
It definitely reminds me of the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, because that guy's like, oh my god, stupid fish, talking about, like, the octopus, and he's like, actually, it's a sauropod, or some shit like that.
I love that guy. That's the guy with the wooden eye,
the guy with the wooden eye. Like,
he's, like, always just so intellectual, and you don't
and
expect
you think
it.
he's dumb.
I know.
But like, well, they think
he's dumb, but he's really like. He's probably like the smartest guy on the ship.
He's like.
I love when they're talking about the Bible, and he's so like.
How the fuck did he become a pirate? Because I feel like there's a story there.
Hollywood.
Yeah, like
Disney.
seriously, if he's.
I hate you, but here's your next movie.
If he's
make it and give Maddie credit.
I would say sponsor us, but like I'm scared to be sponsored by you, Disney. Like,
you're anti-Semitic.
no,
That's
I'm just scared to be sponsored by you because of like everything. You know what I mean? Like, are they still anti-Semitic, or did that die when that guy died? Walt Disney died.
I don't want to cancel us. So
oh, when did he die? Was it the 90s or the 80s? Was it a long time ago?
I thought it was a long time ago. I fucking don't know. I thought it was a long time ago. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I thought it was.
But I'm just gonna say, like, I have never heard a Disney movie about Rosh Hashanah or Hanukkah or. I'm just saying.
I was gonna say Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
but
Adam Sandler did it. You got us, boy.
Dude, I love Adam Sandler's Disney movie because doesn't he voice?
Wait, is he a Disney?
No, it's not Disney. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Cartoon.
that's a Disney movie? I can't even imagine. I've never seen the whole thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he voiced the character.
The grandma,
that was
like
him.
Yeah.
The grandma. I don't know. I've never actually watched 8 Crazy Nights. I know the song like the back of my hand, but I don't know if I've sat through that movie. I have no. If I sit down and watch it,
like
maybe I'll remember. Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally saw this.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can picture are like stills out of like the commercial, like little clips from the commercial. But again, I mean, Disney's not making any Hanukkah related content, so I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if they're still anti-Semitic, but they ain't trying to show they're not. That's all I can say about that.
On the topic of Atlantis.
Yes.
So the theory is that
Disney made an Atlantis movie. Though,
yes,
which
they
I
did
not see. Have you seen that?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it once a long time ago, but like it wasn't my personal favorite. Basically, I think it is an underwater cave or something like that. So. Yeah. And
I thought it was like a bubble. Is it a cave? I don't know. I just know from pictures. I don't remember. Like I haven't seen the movie. It was between like. I was too old for Disney movies, didn't have kids yet.
They're like Targaryens, though. Like, at least the princess, they have the white hair and the... I mean, it would make sense if they were like Targaryens. There's not exactly anybody else around. But, like, when I say that, I mean that's how they looked. Like, she's got, like, white hair and, like, purple eyes and, like... which makes sense. I'm sorry to interrupt.
In Ugly Americans, they're all men because the testosterone... levels in men allow them to live in the the water pressure, but women can't survive down there. In Ugly Americans, which is like the Comedy Central TV show, it's just funny to me because like obviously all of the men are willing to swing any which way because
they have no other option.
Right, exactly, and that's exactly what one guy says because like somebody says to him like, "I thought you were gay," and he's like. Look, you know, you get what you get down here, and if you have an option, cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, and it's like, would they even know?
Well, okay, so in Ugly Americans, I guess so, because they had a treaty with New York, and, like, they were keeping the Kraken at bay, and New York was feeding them pizza.
Oh, wow. What the hell? Is that a cartoon?
It's a cartoon. It's the cartoon where he's a social worker in New York, where it's, like, robots and aliens and monsters all live together with people, and he has to try and help integrate them into society in America. It's a funny show. It's definitely a Comedy Central show, but it's funny. It's inappropriate as hell, but it's funny.
I'll have to check it out for sure.
Yeah, if you want to borrow some of the DVDs, let me know. I have ones. half of one season.
So one of the theories is that Atlantis could possibly have been based on some island and there was an eruption.
So they think that the Minoan eruption around Egypt that took out a lot of people in the Thebe or Theba area of Egypt in 1600 BC might be what took out Atlantis, and that Atlantis really was a place because wherever this eruption happened, it would have affected the Pillars of Hercules, which are the things that Atlantis is said to have been in between on the Straits of Gibraltar.
Yes, yeah, I had heard that. Yeah.
And Atlantis, I wrote this down because I like it. It's called the Island of Atlas. And not to spoil anything for if we ever choose to do the tale of Atlas. But Atlas, he holds the world on his shoulders.
Okay.
So that makes me view Atlantis in a totally different way. And again, if you're riding on the shoulders of a god, could you just pop out of existence because you're like, fuck these guys? I bet you could. And is Atlas a god, or was he being punished? Was he a demigod?
He was a titan. And I think he was being punished. Now you say that, and if you don't mind, I have to just double check this, because I was telling you about like the story of Poseidon being in love with like this one lady and
building Atlantis
for her, but
as a tribute to her.
But then it was like,
which makes sense as to why, like in The Little Mermaid, Poseidon lives in Atlantis.
That was Triton.
Oh wait, that was Triton.
But they're the same.
I mean, yeah.
You know.
Because isn't Triton the Roman version of Poseidon, or am I fucking that up?
No.
Neptune is the Roman version of Poseidon.
But it's so.
But Triton is like, I mean, I guess he's Neptune's son. Okay, my bad, not trying to misnomer the gods. Here is my apologies, Jason Momoa and The Rock, because I'm pretty sure that's who we dubbed Poseidon and Triton.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! I can see The Rock as like Trident or Poseidon.
Trident is Jason Momoa because that motherfucker hot.
Oh, they both are like perfect. Like now I'm like imagining The Rock like stepping out of this
Poseidon and Jason Momoa is Triton, and I picture him stepping out of the sea.
I'm like,
wow. Yes, it's Jason Momoa, and I could compare our curly hair. I didn't mean that as dirty as it sounded, but you know what? It works. It works for the reference I was going for.
So, the golden statue of Poseidon, blah, blah, blah. The folk tale is that Callisto had 5 pairs of sons with Poseidon, the eldest of which was named Atlas. 10 of the sons inherited the great city. The first child, Atlas, became the first ruler of Atlantis. I don't know where this is coming from. I just ended up reading it. It also says that they built an amazing statue made of gold and jewels for Poseidon, and it depicts him riding a chariot with winged horses.
You know what? I can see that because I picture Atlantis as kind of being over the top, right? Like all white with gold accents. You know what I mean? Like
heaven. I don't mean to say
heaven that thinks it's better than you. So yes,
Christian heaven is described. I think as like jewels in the streets and things like that.
Yeah, I do kind of vaguely remember that. I always just pictured it in the clouds. Just like
I know, I can't
just
imagine.
Chilling on the clouds with my wings, you know, and my white robe.
I can't even really imagine it because they always say it's better than you can imagine. So I'm like, I don't. You know what I mean? Like, why bother?
Yeah, fair enough. I literally, because like, dude, a cloud, like you just get to hop from cloud to cloud and like look down at shit on the earth. That sounded pretty fucking nice to me as a kid. I was like, yeah, boy, sign me up.
Go to heaven.
Oh my god, that's probably why.
Even that little bastard ass fucking
bastard
bulldog.
hound. Oh,
the bulldog.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He's in there. He ends up in heaven because
all dogs go to heaven.
Dude, like forever, it's like intrusive thoughts for me. That one scene in that movie when she's like, "If you go, you can never come back." Like I'm like, oh, that shit just is the one.
It tears me up. I made my kids watch it, and I cried every time. And I was like, "Why do I do this to myself?"
Who's the dog?
I'm pretty sure it's
the mustache.
The mustache. Burt Reynolds.
Damn.
Pretty sure it's Burt Reynolds. If you know, comment. Let us know. Because Amber might be wrong. Yeah.
So do you imagine Atlantis having like a king? Or like, do you think that since they are so evolved, they're above needing?
Neither. I think they would have like an actual good democratic, like, because if you don't involve shitty people, democracy is actually not that bad. But it's when like shitty people get involved that democracy turns into capitalism. I feel like Atlantis, if it truly is like good enough that they really were holier than thou, and they could be like, all right, you guys are all corrupt, everybody's trying to fight us because whatever, we don't want to kill you anymore, we're just going to peace out now, we're going to go to the fourth dimension where we apparently belong, and we'll see you guys when you evolve. I think they would peace out to the fourth dimension, and they would be ruled either by a democratic government that was actually elected by the people for the people, like it's supposed to be, without like greedy motherfuckers getting involved and like being like, oh well, I'm gonna pass this law for my friends, and now life sucks a little bit here, and now this guy's gonna do the same thing, so it sucks a little bit here, and then it becomes America. I don't think they would have that kind of democracy. I think they'd have like the ideal of it. Does that make sense? Like, I really think they would have like a governing body that could be trusted.
So, here's my theory. Don't know if you guys have seen or read The Host by Stephanie Meyer. It is one of my favorites.
The alien thing, right?
Yes.
Yes, because the Christopher Pike alien story, very much how I think.
They're all so kind. Honesty, happiness, kindness, peace. It is practiced by all, so there's peace. They don't need anyone to be a boss of them because they're so evolved that they can just live peacefully without anybody having to fucking say don't do that, without needing money, because here, I'll give this to you, you give this to me. You can't give that to me, okay, then I'll just give this to you. You know what I mean?
I like that.
You know, I
like that. I feel like because maybe they have evolved beyond being people at all, in which case I can truck with that. If they're still people with emotions, you said evolved beyond emotions. If they still have emotions, then I feel like there would be a governing body that could help when emotions become involved, because otherwise they're evolved beyond all that stuff, you know what I mean? But emotions do still rule the hearts and minds of men, and it does.
Well, and that
like,
comes
you know,
with the theory on whether or not you think they're men or they have evolved into something else, and that's kind of the theory that I was going with.
Well, and I think that they are
I mean?
a higher, like, they're not regular, they're not like us,
But
right?
they're not
because they're in
souls
fourth,
just yet.
they're in the fourth dimension, right?
Because when I close my eyes and think of Atlantis, I'm not gonna lie, I think of souls, like a city.
I
of
don't.
souls.
I think of like actual people still breeding, still having kids, still raising families, like growing food. I definitely think of like a living, breathing society.
I'm thinking of like the ending of fucking The Great Crystal when they're all like at one because the Skeksis were a thing because they had split. They had like split, and there is a yin and there is yang, and unfortunately their yin got split from the yang, so the yang is like out of control and the yin is just so calm and just like the peace. So I don't know. I kind of, when I think of a race or whatever you want to call it, a species that has evolved, Atlanteans that have evolved, because I do believe that they left this dimension and have went into the land of the Fae. I guess that's what I would say. Fourth dimension, land of the Fae with everything else. I imagine they're like them in the sense that a lot of to us it would appear as like a light, and I just can't see, like, once you cross into the next dimension, you don't have that same hold that humanity has on people like us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I do still think they have a corporeal body. I do. Just like Bigfoot, I believe he's a fourth dimension creature. And when he's in the fourth dimension, he comes, if he's not physically carrying himself in his corporeal body, he is somehow in that body when he's in the fourth dimension. Same with fairies, things like that. Like, I do.
You know what? Go ahead.
I do think, like, I think they keep their bodies. Like, I really do. Just like, I think on this side, in the third dimension, you might see them as a pinprick of light because you're not able to see what they really are over here. because either you're not there yet, like you are not mentally capable of accepting the information being given to you by your eyes, right? Like you can't believe what you're seeing, so you just see it as light. Or they, like I said, if they don't want you to see them, they're not going to let you see them, right? But you're advanced enough that you can pick them out by the pinpricks of light, right? You can feel their presence, you can see the light and go, I'm pretty sure that's a fairy, right? Even if they're trying to hide. And if they actually let you see them as a fairy over here, it's because they actually let you see them as a fairy, but I think they always look like that, even when they're in the fourth dimension, when they're over here. Does that make sense? Like, yes. Okay.
See, now that I say it out loud, I'm thinking more, maybe less fourth dimension to me, and more just a selection of souls. Because to me, when I think of souls, they're up in the universe, right? That's where they gather. So maybe this is a selection of souls
that has stayed together because they were cursed by the gods, and so they can't separate. They can't go off to their own personal homes.
I was not thinking that. But
I'm
that
sorry,
makes
but
sense.
like that gave me like such headcanon. I was like, they're trapped on an island in the middle of up there.
I mean, it works.
Oh my God, is there a fucking constellation for Atlantis? I don't know enough about constellations.
It works, but that I was thinking more like they chose to stay down here because they
were like connected.
Yes, and they help us on Earth versus those that help us within the universe. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. I get what you're saying.
So when I say I see them as light, it's not even like, ooh, I'm gonna get freaked the fuck out. Okay, sorry. But like, you know how there's shadow people?
Yeah.
Like that? But white.
No, I totally get, because
like,
I was gonna say, like, I think maybe on this side that's how you would perceive them, is like creatures of straight light.
Yeah.
And just like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when we went camping, I told you that we were in a circle of trees and there was a circle of mushrooms in the circle of trees, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm in fairy territory, so I left cream for the fairies and butter was left by Corey, and I was like, that's for the fairies, and he's like, and a raccoon, and I was like, that's for the fairies, like I'm letting the fairies know we left them offerings of butter and cream because like they let us stay here.
Or a raccoon, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Which is it?
Right, I know. I was like, the butter is for the butter and the cream for the fairies, the coffee and the egg, the coffee's for the ancestors, and the egg is for the critters. Okay, like
I left an egg on my porch. I'm so sorry. I left an egg on my porch on my old house, and it was there, and it would be moved in different areas, and then one day it was gone. So I told my grandma about it. She's like, that raccoon was letting it marinate. It was like coming and checking on it. It's like, not yet. And then it finally took it.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
It was, because it'd be moved from one side of the garden to the other side of the garden. Like, he had to have been waiting. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, because like he put it up in the tree branches, because like at the end of camping we had one egg left, and so he's like, I'm just gonna leave it. There's no sense in taking it home, and I was like, that's fine, you know, whatever. Because we had cleaned up all the trash out of the campsite. If you know Table Rock Lake in Missouri, clean up the trash when you go there. It's the dirtiest campsite I've ever been to in my entire life, guys. But anyway, so like while we're sitting there, after we've cleaned up all the trash, we've made offerings to them, we're still chilling out because it's not time to come home yet. And I'm enjoying just like the noises of nature because everybody else that was camping has now gone home. So they're not playing AC/DC really loud on their boombox and shit, which I just don't understand. Like, why are you going to the lake to play loud music? You could be listening to animals. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so we were like, we're going to enjoy the peace and quiet. And, like, I just see all of these little, like, lights coming down out of the tree branches. And I was just like, I feel like that was the fairies being like, thanks for cleaning up. You know, we appreciate it. You know?
Do you think Atlanteans would be like that with the ocean?
I think they might. I think they would. I think they would be like that with both, because if they are not a submerged underwater society and they are spirit essences that are here just to kind of help us out, I think they would appreciate us helping the earth out, because obviously they have an attachment to the earth and are wanting to better the inhabitants of the earth, and that's why they stay, right? So I would think they would definitely be happy about the ocean being cleaned up.
It is,
but I still think that like all that stuff would be visible as lights over here.
Yeah, I'm not
Like, and I could see them, just like you said, a shadow person, but in white. Because I was picturing that a whole lot when we were talking about them on this side of the veil. But on that side of the veil, I picture the white robes and people and everything.
I was just going to say, these are the type of episodes, I think, where listeners are like, do they have a religious psychosis? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think so.
I don't know, but now I'm over here like, I do believe the Atlanteans are real and they're a white light, and then I'm like, oh my god, am I crazy?
I don't know, like,
I'm trying
have
to
always
grow
believed
past that,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like, I have always believed that Atlantis was a real place. I'm not I
Maybe
always
we're walking
believed
the line.
I think we are, because like as a kid I believed like it sank into the ocean,
yeah.
but I thought it was a society underwater. Now I think it popped into the fourth dimension, but it's still a functioning society over there. I don't know if that's crazy or not, but I believe both things are possible. And I do think two things can be true. So are they really an underwater society, but also they have a spiritual, like, existence over in the fourth fucking dimension, and they're able to cross back and forth just like Bigfoot and fairies?
I think. That's what I think.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Because that makes sense as to how my
code.
two... Because I don't know if you heard me and I was walking away and I was like, I don't know how this makes sense, but it makes sense to me. That's how it makes sense. Two things can be true.
We cracked the code because I do think so. What if that's how they're more advanced than us, because they've mastered the ability to pop in and out, within and without.
As a society as a whole. Because they're able... Do they hive mind? Do they mind think? Like, are they a hive mind? Like, is everybody connected mentally? Or
Like
do they, like... they telepathically communicate? They're beyond words?
I think that one. I do think they telepathically communicate. They probably like stare at each
That
other.
makes sense.
And then they're just like...
Oh, I'm picturing like the white light lighting up on their foreheads as they communicate. Like
You are? I'm just imagining two white things standing in front of each other. They're like, hello. And there's like, you don't see anything. It's just...
But one it's like gets brighter and then the other one gets brighter as they're talking.
And it's a really nice, soothing voice because they're way above like human emotion. I'm sorry, I got really quiet. I hope you can hear me. It's almost like not necessarily monotone, but it's like...
But yeah, it's like the gentle, like your mom's singing you to sleep. It's always like mom is singing you to sleep.
Right. The
comforting, gentle.
I feel like they... As I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, I bet Poseidon isn't a big fan. Like, I can just see, like, a rival going on. He's like... No. You don't think so? Or?
Oh, you said is a big fan? I thought you said he isn't
No, is not.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I can see him.
Nope.
I know. He's like, this is my domain, and they're, like, doing their shit again.
Right,
like,
yeah, exactly. I can see him being like, no. I built this place for the woman I love. And these fucking people took it over.
Right, exactly. He's like...
Was the woman he loved a woman, or was she a goddess?
She was a mortal woman.
She was a mortal woman. That's why he's so pissed off, because she's dead and all her descendants are just like, fuck Poseidon, we're cool.
Yeah, they're like, this is our ocean.
Right? They honored Triton, and he's like, I'm your father!
I know, right? I know.
Oh my god, what if Poseidon is the father of the Atlanteans with the woman he loved, and that's why they were able to pop out into the fourth dimension after the other gods smited them and made them sink? Oh my god. Or maybe Poseidon smited them because they started worshiping Triton, and he was like, I'm yo daddy, motherfucker!
I know, right?
I
I
love all the headcanon that this shit...
I know, and you know what? Speaking of Civil War, because we're kind of talking about Civil War underneath this.
I mean, yeah.
House of Dragon. I'm just bringing that up. No, listen, guys, listen. I'm so upset because I just read, you know how there's no dragons in the Game of Thrones? You know how most of them fucking die?
Oh, God.
I know.
No. What? Civil War?
Yes,
they had the dragons kill each other?
Yes!
Those motherfuckers! See, you let people have nice things and they ruin them.
And
they just ruin them.
I'm not looking forward to that. I'm kind of
sorry,
pissed
people.
Now. Like, now I'm just like, damn. Like, you're gonna break up my fucking heart.
That's rough. Like, man, why's it gotta be people that destroyed dragons?
They also kept them in cages, and the last dragon was the size of a cat. Because when you keep animals in cages, they can't grow. No, like fish.
No, like people too. Like that girl from the Wolf Eaters movie.
Oh yeah,
the Slavic one. Her mom, her original mom, like her person mom that had like convinced the witch to not take her and shit. She went and tried to hide her in a cave her whole life and raised her in a fucking cave, and this kid couldn't fucking talk. She was just like staring at the sunlight when it would come past the cracks in the cave.
She was like,
yeah, it was bad. It was sad. And like, but again, the whole movie's like her inner monologue for the most part. So it's not like she was dumb. She just wasn't taught how to talk or anything.
Dude,
like she had thoughts. Like it was kind of beautiful.
Do you think that the Atlanteans ride on anything? Like Targaryens ride on dragons. What the fuck are they gonna ride on like that?
Tiger shark, motherfucker!
Oh, I was like a seahorse. Just a dozen.
They're on like the Atlantean stands on this silver platter kind of thing, and then it's got the reins that are attached to like 24 seahorse, and they're just like, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. And they just like they stand there and they're just like moving at a snail's pace.
Oh my god!
And like their friends that are walking are like, see ya.
Maybe some dolphins.
I can see the dolphins. I like the idea of sharks just because, like, I feel like the sharks would love the Atlanteans, not eat them.
I love sharks. Me too. That sharks are actually my favorite animal, 100%. Like no lie.
Love sharks.
So, I am definitely a big fan of sharks.
Yeah. Love and terrified of water predators. That's just kind of my thing. Yep.
So do you think Atlantis is just one place? Here's a theory, just popped in my head. I mean, it's probably not like my own, is what I'm saying. It's probably been around before, but do you think Atlantis is one thing, or do you think it's the capital of like a shit ton other underwater cities? Bermuda Triangle.
Actually, I was thinking about Bermuda Triangle a whole lot with this episode, and I did have a thought because I watched a fuck ton of Atlantis documentaries, and do you know that the majority of Atlantis documentaries just talk about all sorts of underwater towns that have been fucking found, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it's Atlantis, maybe it's not. And there's so many amazingly preserved underwater ancient cities. Like, I think
there's one, like, not necessarily Mayan, but, like, in that area. And I know the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, like, okay, so in the Azores Mountains might be the top of Atlantis, which is in the Atlantic Pelagos near Portugal. And they found a pyramid down there that was 20,000 years old.
I think I've heard of that one.
In addition, in Cuba, in 2001, they found an underwater settlement, right? Like, obviously it had been above water when it was inhabited. And, like, there's this beautiful fucking, like, half woman, half octopus statue. Like, tentacles and everything. Yeah, just like fucking...
It's fucking Ursula.
Yes.
Just like her?
Well, not just like her.
Because I'd be like, that'd be fucking badass.
That would be badass. She was much more fierce looking up top, I would
But,
say.
like, does she has the tentacles, those legs.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
yeah.
fucking awesome.
I know. I thought so, too. That's why I had to write it down, because I knew you'd love that.
I definitely do.
Yeah, and
I like
Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, they've found some underwater... But, like, the bottom line is there's fucking underwater remains that are famous, ancient, from all over, and I go... Is Atlantis an allegory that covers all of these places that really existed and went underwater, but their civilizations existed elsewhere, and that's how the Atlantis tales came? So not the exact same thing as what you said, but like kind of the counter to it from a non-spiritual perspective. I've never thought about it where Atlantis is the capital of a bunch of different underwater cities.
I could see that.
But if that was the case, there's a shit ton of underwater cities that it could be the capital of.
I could see that because if we're talking, just with my theory, that they are souls on this earth to help the earth, they're just stationed here. as opposed to in the universe, it would make sense that they would be all over the world if they're
to be able to make a difference and keep an eye on shit. Because there's also like alien theories that go along with Atlantis, that like ancient aliens were involved with Atlantis and shit like that. And again, like if the ancient alien theory is accurate, that means aliens helped us throughout the world to evolve. So if they were involved with Atlantis, it would stand to reason that those places were all over the world to help evolve us. And which again would explain how we evolved so fucking quickly, because we've evolved way quicker than we should have.
Oh yeah.
Like we've evolved quicker than our behaviors and our emotions and our mental, our brain chemicals can keep up with.
We need to do a full ass episode on the Egyptians on this thing.
Fuck yeah.
But you said the pyramid and it could be the very top. Well then it's underwater cave. And it's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just
the society just went inside the pyramid.
Right, yes.
And
right.
they got a big air tube.
They funneled down under there.
And they stuck a straw at the top and they're like, air.
Is there anything else that you have to say about Atlantis? So, there's not much pop culture. I mean, I feel like, okay, there's like a shit ton, but none that I can name except for the Disney movie. Oh,
I feel like almost every show that covers like weird stuff does some episode where their characters wind up in Atlantis. Also, there's Stargate Atlantis, which my best friend Ashley.
I love Stargate Atlantis. I forgot about the.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also thinking
like she loves Stargate, but I was like, I shouldn't just start watching Stargate Atlantis, right? And she's like, no, you will have no fucking clue what's going on. So
isn't there like
I didn't watch
a zillion leagues under the sea?
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah. Do they come across anything? I don't know. I've never seen that one.
So
I'm more of a
20,000 Leagues
island type person.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is one of my worst childhood memories from a shame standpoint, because I was in the advanced reading program in like 4th grade or 5th grade. Well, a lot of years, but this was in like 4th or 5th grade. And I decided like, oh, I'm going to get a bunch of points by reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Except that book is so fucking boring that it was the night before like my test and report were due, and I had read like, I don't know, 3 chapters. And my mother, God bless this saint's soul, stayed up all night reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea to me, except I fucking fell asleep and she fucking read it and told me about it the next morning. Like, so and I got a bad grade, but I passed. They come across the giant squid. It's all like, I don't think they come across Atlantis at all. It's all like big underwater creatures and things like scary underwater shit, but not, I don't think they come across a society like that.
Okay.
I don't remember that at all. But again, I just told you, my mommy read it for me and told me about it so I could take the test. Because that book was so fucking boring.
Maybe it isn't about, I don't know. I've never even seen the movie.
I'm
more of a mysterious island type person.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw the movie either. I knew it existed, which is why I was like, oh, I'm going to do this book. It looks so cool. Yeah, no. But I do want to make note that Atlantis, even
I like
as...
your necklace.
Thank you.
It matches your dress. I'm looking at the dress combo.
Thank you. I was like, we're doing Atlantis and we're doing air.
It does look very mermaidy.
Yeah, I was going and I was like, I mean, it could kind of work for air because like the light blue and I know air is yellow, but I associate light blue with air. Mm-hmm. Whatever, it didn't matter. I was in sweats and I was dying and I had to take it off, and I was like, I went to put a different dress on, but it was one of those loads of laundry where my children moved stinky laundry from the washer to the dryer.
Because it had been sitting.
It had been
sitting.
My
God, I hate that.
Oh, I know. So, like, I grabbed this dress because it has, like, water on it and stuff, and it has, like, flowers and air and birds. And I was like, this one smells funky. So then I got this dress because the other one is the one I was going to wear, but it smelled funky.
Like mildew. I hate that. Or, like, you forget that there's laundry in there. You're like, damn, I don't have any clothes. And it's like, oh, my fucking God.
I know.
I hate that.
Well, the worst part is
start it up again.
I know. It's better to just rewash, but like my kids don't think to smell it, and they just moved it over because they needed the wash. So it's like partly my fault. It's totally my fault.
I get you.
But like Also didn't realize the fucking laundry that had happened to it until after I folded it, put it away, which I never fold and put my shit away. But I had folded it and put it away because I needed a laundry basket.
Damn, that
And
sucks.
then I wore something and I was like, what's that? Ah, shit, that smells my clothes. And now every once in a while I keep finding items. Finding an item. Because, like, I tried to get as much of it as I could back into the dirty laundry so I could rewash it. But, yeah. Tonight I grabbed another dress that apparently I had missed. But the one thing that I do want to note about Atlantis, because, like, there are a bunch of searching for Atlantis shows out there. Mm-hmm. And, like, nobody's ever found it. However, not everybody knows it's really hard to like radar scan the oceans or whatever, right? So like the way that we map what's under there right now is just by like certain ships have like good enough like sonar equipment or whatever, they can map underwater, but they've only done 5% of the world's oceans.
Oh yeah.
So like there's so much out there. Like it really could be a submerged city. It could be an actively working city, and we may never fucking know.
Right.
What do you guys think about Atlantis? Let us know on Twitter or in the comments here on YouTube, or I don't know where else they can reach out to us, but they can see us on Instagram. And Melissa, you're a champ. We love you. Thank you for being our patron.
All
Did
right.
we cover all the
I
things?
think so. Thank you for coming and sitting with us, spell.
Yes.
Well,
have a good night.
I
I mean, we're unapologetically ourselves.
Right.
See you next time.